So I'll go ahead and just jump right into our content for today's Phishing Net session. So of course, my name is Andrew. I'm on our partner experience team here with Phin. Very excited to bring to you today's content. Today, we're going to be just quickly kind of glossing over the end user experience. I know it's probably something that a lot of our partners are familiar with. Some, might not be familiar. So I think it's really good to kind of review that and kind of talk through it. As always, as we go through anything, if you have questions, feel free to drop them in the chat immediately. We don't have to wait till the end, but there also will be dedicated time at the end to function as a Q&A session. So let me go ahead and get out of here. And so when you're going through the setup of any one of your customers, right, you're of course creating phishing, campaigns, training campaigns, a lot of times through our continuous campaign creator, of course, where you're answering these type of questions. And so, what does that really mean for the end user side? Like, are they going to, what are the templates that they're going to see, right? What are the training modules? You can really go through this and not, look at a single training video or training or a phishing template as well. And it's great. And many of our partners do that. And go through the setup of a customer in 10 minutes. Don't look at a single one of those things that I mentioned, and leave it running continuously, and it kind of manages itself, which is great. We do also have, if you do want to kind of comb through a lot of that stuff, though, we do have that in any admin, customer tenant here, and you as the admin can kind of go through that stuff in terms of our template library. So this is kind of the library of all of our phishing templates that we have. You can see we have 100 here, constantly adding to that. We've added some, we're starting to add some around like the CrowdStrike incident that happened coming from Microsoft and CrowdStrike. So it's always relevant, always trying to keep things relevant, fresh, so that, your end users, are kind of not necessarily fooled, but we're creating an authentic experience for them, kind of what exactly the bad guys are doing out there. So like I said, for your end users, you can go through and see any of these templates that you want to, and really create a campaign out of these if you really wanted to. And so this is an example of what an end user might see. So, feel free to kind of go through that, as well as training. We have our full library here to kind of, you can comb through all of our training courses. I believe it's a little over 100 as well. And we're constantly adding new training providers. We have 5, soon to be 6, and, constantly adding to that. So really good use of training content and whatnot. And most 90% of our trainings are actually 5 minutes or less. You can see all the ones that are 5 minutes. Some are 10 minutes as well, but you can see, most of them here are 5 minutes or less. So you kind of see from the admin side, you have the option to go through those. You can create campaigns for specific courses, for specific phishing templates if you wanted to, by doing a fixed link campaign, and just select the specific curriculum that you can see here. But that's not really why we're here, of course. We're here to see what it actually looks like for end users. And so, so for phishing, let's start with the phishing side of things, right? So this is an example of one of our FedEx templates that you can see here, phishing templates. And so as you go through it, if I'm an end user and I see that, this, if I'm Drew and this is, coming to me and I feel like I need to track my FedEx package, and I come here and I go to this clickable link in the email, I'm taken to a learning moment. And again, this is something you might be familiar with, but a learning moment is a really good way to change behavior in real time. Oftentimes we've gotten the feedback that, our end users feel like they're being punished for clicking on phishing links because they're taken to a random training video that is too long, and it's also not really relevant to the action that they just took in terms of clicking on the phishing email. And so this is basically intended to do the opposite. It's teach the user in real time what they could have done differently with this exact same email, things to look for, hover over links, check sending domains, and many other things that kind of indicate that this is a phishing email. And so very good that, they can kind of go through this, click through these kind of tips, if you will, and go through. Once they click the done at the end, that will register that they've completed this learning moment in their analytics. So again, changing that behavior in real time, in addition to the training content that we have. We don't just want to, make this feel punitive. We want it to be educational, and that's really what Phin's all about, is providing that, live education that's not punitive and actually makes that difference in terms of cybersecurity awareness and building those good habits. So that is the end user side for phishing. And for training, very straightforward. So it's all email based. The cool thing is that users don't have to create an account. They don't have to remember another password. It's all, like I said, email based via a unique link. They can see they get this training reminder when they have a training assigned to them or any outstanding trainings. They'll get this training reminder once a week automatically, as long as they continue to have outstanding training. So you don't have to worry about reminding people. That happens automatically on a weekly basis. And so all you do is click to view, and you can see everything that's assigned to you, everything that you've completed, which for this user is 0, or just all of it as well. So very straightforward. Like I mentioned, most of our courses are 5 minutes or less, a couple of questions. We really don't want it to interrupt their day too much. We want it to be, quick education. They get it, it's to the point, they retain the information, and then they can move on with the rest of their day. So that is the training environment. And if anyone ever needs to come back here, they can bookmark this in their browser, they can save this email, and again, they're getting weekly training reminders as well. So those are the two main parts of the end user experience, of course. The last kind of part is reporting. And so we have the option for automated reports to be set up. You can essentially come in here, add any report viewers, really any stakeholders that you want weekly or monthly PDF reports to be sent to, add them here. Enable if you want weekly and or monthly reports, enable them here. Always recommend monthly if you're doing monthly phishing and training. If you're doing weekly reports for monthly phishing and training, some of those off weeks might not have the most differentiation in terms of change data and whatnot. So it's nice to keep the scope of things aligned one-to-one, where you're having monthly reports for monthly campaigns, if that makes sense. And so you also have the option to include some optional fields, really useful stuff there, raw data sets, and then you can also download anything here, generate a report ad hoc. So very nice tool to keep this platform kind of automated. I know in other videos I've shown how easy it is to automate the creation of campaigns and then continuous management, which there's really not a lot of, and then as well as automating reporting. And so that is the other side of the end user experience. And then the last thing I kind of wanted to touch on today is resources for you guys. And so at our public knowledge base that we've got tons of guides for the creation of campaigns, adding users, really anything you can do in our platform. We have a guide for it. And so you can see that here. You can get to it from our website as well. So we can just come back here, and then actually I think it's somewhere in here. Knowledge base, there it is. And then so feel free to take a look at that at any point. You can also see the section for Phin partner resources. And so this is resources for you and for your end users, things like marketing material, establishing why SAT is important, how it's changed over time. We also have basically what I just mentioned, the end user experience, what that looks like in a one-page document, what it looks like in a video that you can click on there. And then we also have a registration for our Phin hosted webinars that I mentioned earlier. So not only this one, so you've likely found this link somewhere if you're watching live, or you're watching the recording and you want to register for one of our webinars. You can do that here on our knowledge base. And so this is our partner-facing webinar that we're in right now for our Phishing Net. Our customer-facing webinar registration is for our end user webinar. So how to stay safe online and establish why SAT is important. So they are both bi-weekly. They go every other week. So we'll always have a live webinar once a week. So definitely recommend either sending your end users there or checking out our partner facing one as well. So if we go back, the other thing is we also have a presentation that you can use and adapt it if you want to meet the needs of your end users. And so this is actually the same presentation that we go through in that end user webinar that we have. And so you can use this if you wanted to present to them. You can adapt any of these slides. This actually just shows, again, why security awareness training is important, how it's changed over time, and here's how easy the experience is with Phin. We've got the presentation version with notes, YouTube recording of me doing it. So Lots of really helpful resources for you guys. So we're always here. Again, feel free to reach out to us as Partner Experience, as well as our support team via our submit a ticket section in our knowledge base. Awesome. So that is really all I came prepared to talk with you about today. Again, today's focus was on the end user experience. We do different topics for our different webinars. And so every time we do one of these, we have like a little different highlight of what we're going to talk about in addition to Q&A. And so, this is kind of a focus that I really wanted to bring back and shed some light on for people. Just, there's lots of ways you can test this yourself. You can send a test phishing campaign, how to do that as well as in our knowledge base. And you can kind of see that for yourself, what templates look like live in action, what the learning moments look like, in addition to all of our documentation that I just showed you. So lots of ways to test, but, here's a live example of the everything that we've kind of mentioned, live on screen. So. All right, and then I don't see any questions. I'll give a couple minutes for people to ask those questions now as we kind of move into a Q&A. And so let me go back here, and I will present that. So as we get into our Q&A again, very important to just, if you're interested, just stay up to date on all things Phin. We always send a release email to all of our contacts who have, are opted into our emails. And so, it makes it easy to announce new features being released. We also have that quick link in our knowledge base as well of everything we've released, I believe, over the last year and a half or so. And so, so any updates that we have will be either in the knowledge base or, sent via email as well. And so always looking to build off of what we've done and continue to grow our platform. So, and a lot of what we have built, as just a small side note, has come from our partners. So we always welcome feedback from you guys via our feature requests, in our submit a ticket section, as well as just general feedback from meetings or if we're exchanging emails or, exchanging emails in a ticket, etc. So love all of the feedback from you guys. And that's really, how we're here today. So okay, no questions at this point. So quiet crowd today, but that's okay. I'll assume there are no questions at this point since I don't see any. And so we can kind of go from there. So thanks so much, everyone, for joining. I really appreciate it. This has been a really great event that we do, again, every other week. And so if you are interested in, learning more, feel free to reach out to us. Feel free to register for the next one. But until then, don't hesitate to reach out to us, and we'd love to hear from you. All right. Thanks, everyone, so much, and have a great rest of your day.